I guess it's been long enough now. Gonna go ahead and talk about this. At the beginning of October, I spent a couple days volunteering to help out our Afghan allies and the Afghan refugees that came to the U.S. as part of our withdrawal from there. Now, there's a whole lot that happened with that whole debacle. Not going to go into that in this video. Just going to talk about what I saw and what I heard while I was there. At the towards the end of September, I saw an episode of Drinking Bros podcast with Tim Kennedy, talking about the process that they went through to help out actual Afghan allies of ours that helped them while they were serving over there. Our government really wasn't doing much for, and he was a big part of that group of veterans that was over there as civilians, unarmed, helping to get people that helped us out. And it's important that they did so because the alternative was being raped and murdered by the Taliban for having helped Americans. Any of them that are left, of course, the Taliban have a list of those people now, thanks to Joe Biden, so they're probably all dead at this point. That said, watching that video is what prompted me to want to help however I could. And so I had a few days and I volunteered at the closest base to me, which was Fort Pickett, Virginia. And from what I've been able to find online, there had been Afghans at Fort Pickett for about 6 weeks at the time that I was there. When I was there, there were roughly 5,000 Afghans on base. At that time, I think it was the last of the 7 bases at that time where we are housing Afghans. My volunteering was odd. The whole, well, I'll just put it this way. I overheard a lot that I probably was not supposed to hear or shouldn't have heard. I was told not to take pictures, so I didn't take any pictures. I was told not to take video, so I didn't take any video. But I did not have to sign an NDA, so I'm going to talk about it. That said, just want everybody to know that I did not kill myself. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, where you have to go back and see me saying this. But who knows with this government. So there had been 5,000 Afghans or fewer there at Fort Pickett for 6 weeks. One of the things that I overheard while I was there was that at that point there had been 15 murders, which is just over 2 murders a week out of 5,000 people. Also, that there had been 91 unwanted pregnancies, which means at least 91 rapes. That's just the rapes that resulted in a pregnancy. It doesn't count the rapes that didn't result in pregnancy, or if it's anything like what is typical in Afghan culture, the systematic child rape of little boys. This is just unwanted pregnancies. And that's 91 in 6 weeks, about 15 a week. I was there for a couple days at the start of a week in early October. At the end of that week, there were supposed to be 5,000 more arriving. So it was going to increase to 10,000 on base. I actually spent very little time around any of the Afghans. They're very sequestered in a certain area of the base. When I first arrived there, I had never been there before. I got lost. I ended up sitting in the middle of where they are, waiting for MPs to help me out with directions. And for them to figure out who I was and where I was supposed to be going, while I was trying to figure out where I was supposed to be going. There was a group of little Afghan kids playing next to my car as I sat there waiting for the MPs. They seemed happy enough. They seemed to be having a good time. They said something to me in Pashtun or whatever, and I didn't understand it. But they seemed happy enough. The adults that I saw walking around, it was a pretty subdued feeling, I would say. They didn't really seem happy. They just seemed kind of there. One of the other things that I overheard that, again, I probably wasn't supposed to hear, but I feel like is important to say is, and this is coming from most of the stuff that I overheard was in the Joint Operations Command Center on base. And one of the people pretty high up there on the nonprofit side of things explained that we had been doing a very good job of vetting the Afghans before evacuating them out of Afghanistan, until it reached a point where basically the president intervened and said that in order to fill a quota of being able to say that they had gotten a certain amount of people out, they were going to stop the vetting process and just let whoever was there, just put them on a plane and send them out of there to fill a quota so that the president could say that he evacuated as many people as they were supposed to. They weren't our allies. They weren't people that helped us. They weren't people that had an actual need to get out of Afghanistan. They were just whoever was there. And we went ahead and brought them over here. That said, we did get a lot of our allies, from what I understand, we did get a lot of our allies out, but there is an unknown number of people Afghans that we know nothing about. And that is probably not going to end well for us. But back to my time on base. Most of the time that I was outside of the jock, I spent sorting through stuff that people had donated, sorting it into, taking out stuff that we couldn't give to them, and sorting it into pretty much boxes, clothes by size and whatnot, and food into certain boxes, of course, and repackaging it basically to go to the parts of base where it was needed. I will say that if you want to help, while I was there, at least one of the main things that they needed was baby formula and baby food. There seemed to be a lack of that more than anything else. One of the other things that I heard that I probably shouldn't have, but I feel like it's important for us to know, is that after 6 weeks of being there, they were not handing out toys to the Afghan children because they didn't know how to. They had started to, they were trying to, and then they figured out that, bad things were happening to kids that got toys that other kids wanted, either by those other kids or the parents of those other kids. And it got to a point where the distribution center for the toys, whenever a truck brought more toys to that distribution center, there would be pretty much a mob of kids that would start attacking the truck to get to the toys. And that wasn't so bad. And then it became a mob of adults attacking the truck, so they couldn't even unload the truck to distribute the toys because a mob of adults would show up and start demanding the toys. So while I was there, all of the toys that had been donated were being pretty much sequestered in a secret location on base because they had no idea how they were supposed to distribute them. And yeah, that's the culture that we've invited in. And I do not think for a minute that it would be that way or that bad if the Biden administration had actually gone through with the vetting process rather than just saying, whoever is here, put them on the plane because we need to fill a quota so that we don't look bad. This is the same Biden administration that, of course, said that, there's only 200 to 400 Americans left in Afghanistan. And according to Tim Kennedy, in late September, who I trust a lot more than the Biden administration or the mainstream media, that number is actually more like 3,000 to 5,000. Then again, we stopped saving the people that we needed to save so that the Biden administration wouldn't look bad. I guess that's about it. That's about all I got for this one. I'm glad I went and helped. If you have one of those bases near you, I think you should go volunteer too if you have the time and the inclination. Like I said, baby food and baby formula seemed to be in high demand. They needed more of that than anything else while I was there. And again, it's been a while now. I thought I was going to go back and volunteer again. That's why I waited so long to say anything. But I know at this point I'm not going back. Yeah, that's my story. Um, Hopefully, you're a little more informed than you were before. And this is Blue Ridge Commentary. Until next time, I'll see you then.